Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Indie Insight session. This is fantastic. We've got our wonderful partners at Reddit. Reddit, I think, I don't want to say, I don't want to insult anyone, but I think a significantly underrated as a platform and as a vendor. And I think everyone who's tuning in today is going to get a lot out of it. We talk a lot about contextual. In our most recent survey with you guys, you told us that, with the cookie deprecation, that contextual advertising is the key. Well, this is, if that's the key, then this is a solution. So our good partners at Reddit are putting on this session based on that. This is I hope I'm not stealing all your thunder, Mark, but this is a first for Australia to actually see this. Is hot off the stage from Cairns, not Cairns in Cairns, Cairns, actual the proper Cairns. This is amazing. So Mark Ferguson, he's not a newsreader. He's our Mark Ferguson in Melbourne, and Emily Dooley are going to work their way through this as a bunch of perfectly formed figure skaters, because one's pressing the buttons, the other one's going to be talking. So Mark, I'll hand over to you to take things over.
Thank you very much, Sam, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to present to you all today. As Sam just said, this is literally hot off the press and was first presented in Cannes last week, so very excited to bring this to you. Before I jump into it, just an introduction. My name's Mark Ferguson. I am a client partner here at Reddit, and as I said before, I have the privilege of looking after all the independent agencies. So if you have an idea, a brief, would like to discuss a client, please feel free to reach out to any of us. We would absolutely love to help. And then post this, if this sparks any ideas, as I mentioned, please feel free to reach out to us. So two parts to today's session. The first one is very much a kind of quick overview and introduction to Reddit for those of you that has not been presented this before. And then the second one is we would love to run you through some exciting insights and emerging trends in the search space in relation to contextual targeting. So with that being said, we'll jump straight into it, and if we can hold off to questions to the end, there's quite a bit to get through. So please hold off, and then we'll definitely allocate some time to this at the end. So jumping straight into it, and what is Reddit is a very common question that we get. And Reddit is essentially a community of communities. So hopefully for those that have used it, and if you haven't, I definitely encourage you to. We have communities over 100,000 that range from the very niche to the very kind of mainstream. And these might be things like Melbourne, like Australia, like Oz Finance, travel, you name it. If you have a passion or an interest, I can guarantee you there will be a community that is aligned to that, where you can connect with people with similar passions and interests. So we like to think of ourselves, and we strongly believe we are the #1 platform for community. And something that may surprise you is we now have over 15 million monthly actives here in Australia. So quite a significant number of people that are using Reddit. And today we'll kind of explain where that growth has come from and what we are enabling them to do on the platform. So Reddit is intentionally different from other platforms, and we do sit in this space between search and social, which we will explain a bit shortly. But really, it's all about the me versus the we. So if I take myself in this example, I look at my own kind of social feeds, and I'm a dad of 2. I like to travel. It's very kind of one-dimensional. It's polished, it's sanitized, and I follow all my friends and my family. Whereas on Reddit, it's very much about the we approach. I like to connect with people that share similar passion and interests. This could be in property, this could be in renovations, this could be for my football clubs that are struggling at the moment, this could be across Oz Finance, this could be across places that I'm looking to travel and get tips and recommendations from people. So the most important thing to kind of get out of this is that it is authentic conversation, it is real, it is based on, real people's opinions, and it is unbiased in the information that you will discover. And I think the word of kind of what we took out of Cannes and Cairns was authenticity, and that really kind of rings true with what you'll find on Reddit. And I think one of the things I love the most, and again, I encourage you, if you haven't before, to definitely post in one of your communities, is to ask a question and the feedback and the engagement that you'll get off the back of this. So, for every second that we are in this presentation right here today, there are people asking communities a question, and on average, they are getting 19 responses from their community. That is a very strong engagement. And as I said, I would definitely encourage you to see the beauty of these kind of comments and responses when you're asking a question, because what we find is that the level of detail that they go into is quite incredible. So just an interesting stat for you if you're thinking about posing a question. And the other kind of main takeout for today, just in terms of our Reddit audience, is the unique nature and how you can reach additional people. So we know that a lot of these other platforms have a broad reach, but what we're finding in the main is that we also have a really strong, unique reach. And these might be people that only use a couple of social media platforms or just tend to stick to one, like Reddit as an example. And this is where we can really kind of help you extend your reach out and obviously help reach new people in the right place at the right time, which will something we'll talk a lot about today. And just from a visual perspective, to give you kind of an example of a few of the different placements on Reddit. So you've got your home feed, which is where you'll open up the app, and your home feed is based on all the communities that you actively join or sign up to yourself. So as I said, these are your passions and interests. You won't see any other bits of content that's something that you're not kind of interested in. Then you've got the communities themselves. So this is something that you go into, and there's obviously there's information, there's posts about the individual community that you're interested in. And then you've got conversations, which is really where you can get into the gold of the product recommendations and the feedback and what people are telling you about certain experiences, products, etc. So that's a very rapid fire kind of introduction to Reddit and kind of our core foundations. And now what I'd like to spend most of the time on today is some emerging trends and insights that we're finding around the future of search and how a lot of people and the growth that we're finding in Reddit has come from this area in particular. So I'm sure you've all heard of the recent trend around social search. And what we're finding is that Gen Z are really the leaders in this at the moment around search being less used and search being used more, but in a social context and less more in the way that we've all kind of come to know it over the last kind of decade. So discovery and research on search itself have taken a bit of a hit, and there's a big move away from the big search engines to those on social media platforms. And so what we're finding as a result is that, brand discovery on search is decreasing, and brand discovery as a result on social is increasing. And there's a couple of reasons behind that. So, while product discovery on social is on the rise, the reasons that people are moving to other areas is really around the distrust and skepticism that they're finding in the mainstream kind of search engines. And this is based on a few different things, but I'm sure you've all kind of seen the news and the publications around, people over kind of fake product reviews, biased reviews, I should say. And really, engines such as Google, who are, the results just aren't as tailored, and it's just not what people are after these days. So what we're finding is that a significant amount of shoppers are having concerns over basically the legitimacy of the results that they're getting at the moment. And so where is this coming from? And really, I'm sure you're all aware of this, but the details are really kind of the influencers, AI in particular. So a lot of these own search engines and products are leading you to their own AI search engines now, and sponsored content that is just, as I said, biased, and people are reading straight through that these days. So a few things that people have just called out in terms of why they're moving on from these areas is around the fake reviews that they see a lot, the biased reviews that we all kind of come to be very familiar with these days, and just the lack of quality from posters and commenters, and so much so that there's actually a new trend now around de-influencing. So people just calling out the real information about what are some of the things that people aren't enjoying these days, or things that they'd like to see that brands can get better at. So these are the types of emerging trends and insights that are coming out of this type of change at the moment. And search is shifting, so trust is now coming from real people. And as a result, it's, I ask myself this all the time: if I'm trying to find valid information from someone, whether I'm comparing two different brands, whether I'm researching a whole new purchase, where can I go to get that information? And a lot of people, as a result, are having a more fragmented approach when they're going through search. They might try search, they might try a few different options that they get served, but then they want to then they're seeking kind of the real information from people that have used the product or the service before. So it's really leading to, where can I get this single source of truth and a trusted community to get this information from? And this is really where Reddit now plays a big role in purchase decisions. So people inherently trust Reddit, and the reason is because they know when they go on Reddit that we don't really delve in the whole influencer world, and that the results and the feedback and the recommendations that they're getting are from real people that have used the product, that are just looking to pass on the information that they've experienced. So trustworthiness, honesty, and curiosity are big things that are coming out of Reddit at the moment, and what we're being known for in this area. And overall, as you can imagine, with Gen Z, the expectations of search are rising. So people want convenience now more than ever. And this, the common kind of example here is that we all go to Netflix these days, and we don't want to troll through what we're looking for. We want Netflix to tell us what we want to watch, and this very much is what is happening in the search world these days. Same for context. We don't want generalized responses. We want tailored responses. We have questions that we're looking to ask, and we want specific answers to those. And consensus and dialogue, and Discord, which is another big thing, which people want to be able to ask the questions and go back and forth and then kind of make their mind up in their own way. And Reddit was really made for this moment. So the reason being is that we have all this nugget of information and all these snippets, conversations, insights, commentary around what people are buying, what people are using, what people are giving, recommendations on. And this is why Reddit has grown significantly as a platform, especially here in Australia over the past few years. The amount of people that are coming through, and a common example here again is when I'm searching for something, the amount of people that are appending Reddit to the end of their search to go straight into that community, straight into that conversation to get that information that they're after. So what we're finding is that, especially from a purchasing perspective, this is where people are asking a lot of questions, where they're validating their decisions, and we're finding that we are almost the biggest channel now at providing you with this information. And I'm sure you've all got examples out there of recent purchases you've made where you've gone in and looked for discussions or feedback, or kind of just, people that have used the product, and you're looking for those kind of, that really useful information that is so hard to find these days. So conversations are really a superpower, and this is what's leading this big trend on Reddit, which is, whether it's convenience, as I said before, whether it's people are asking a question, they're looking for results inside of Reddit, and they're connecting with brands that are helping them find this information, whether it's context. So as I said before, it's people are searching for certain keywords and you're appearing in that area around, it might be a brand comparison, it might be an open-ended question about a specific experience or product, or whether it's the discourse that people are having where they might not be sure, but then they go on and they ask a question in the community, and that helps them kind of lead to the results that they're after. We are very much at the center of this kind of universe at the moment, and help you kind of access and help your clients access these people who are navigating this journey kind of as we speak. And this is why, again, we're finding that all roads are literally leading through Reddit. So, as I've said, a lot of people are depending on Reddit to validate a purchase decision or even go in to find the information from their peers. And it really is both discovery, because you might be at the start of your purchase or you might be at the end of your purchase and you're just looking for that final validation. So we're finding that, 1 in 3 shoppers that first heard about a product or service are coming to Reddit to additionally research that on a purchase. And I think this is kind of the trend that we're seeing across the board, just how much people are now reliant on feedback, reviews, and opinions of others before they go on to make a purchase. And a stat that I absolutely love is that every second over 100 people are appending Reddit to their Google searches. So just kind of showing you the strength in numbers of people that are doing this as a trend at the moment. And we'll kind of touch on what this means for your clients and how to activate this on Reddit. So for brands, conversations are really helping unlock the key at the moment. And what this means is to think of Reddit as essentially a combination of search and social. So you've got the opportunity from a search perspective, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but basically you can reach people through the use of, an example would be keywords. And this is a common trend, again, we're seeing, where you can advertise across certain keywords and make sure when people are landing on those keywords in Reddit that you are appearing. And then you've also got the social feature as well. So you're reaching people who are discovering content in their feeds. And as I said before, your feed is based on all the communities that you are actively joining. So people are more inclined to scroll through that because it's all the information that they're passionate about. So whether it's actively researching, finding answers, getting informed, or just discovering in your feeds, this is a big part of why Reddit is growing and why more and more people are coming back to get this information. And on Reddit, brands can tell their story it's a high trust environment because, as I said before, people are trusting the information that they're getting. It's high intent because, if I've got a question between 2 different brands and I'm going to Reddit to find that information, I'm definitely well and truly along that purchase journey where a brand can serve me an ad and kind of make sure that I'm aware of what they're offering as well. And it's a highly contextual environment, as I've said before. So you can make sure that you are showing up in a place where people are talking about your brand, talking about your product, talking about your service. And as Sam said earlier, this is a cookieless way of showing up in the right environment at the right time to the people that are actively looking for your brand or your product and service. So we're finding trustworthy is super high, as I said. Redditors would purchase products they saw on Reddit as a result because there's a really strong affinity with them, with brands that are actively participating on Reddit. And we're obviously seeing a lot of people interested in seeing the brands sharing information about their products. So just one other example here that we're finding more and more is that brands are asking our audiences around certain features and benefits of their products and then looking at, okay, what are the results that I'm going to get back? And then how can I use this to literally inform my marketing strategy as the next phase. So we're finding that they're using kind of the information they're getting on Reddit to not only drive purchases, but use that to inform their own strategies kind of moving forward as well, which is a really unique place to be in. And when you advertise on Reddit, I think this is just an example of the flywheel that you can achieve. So first of all, we know that advertising helps you obviously connect with the right people at the right time. So this is a big way of helping you obviously reach, from a contextual point of view, the right audience. But then you can also take it a step further and really drive that kind of preference and discussion on Reddit. So as I said before, a great example of that is brands that are now asking open-ended questions to their audiences to find that really valuable information back. And then the third layer of this is kind of the advocacy piece, which is if you can generate discussions and conversations on Reddit, you will now service your own kind of SEO and search by showing up higher from a Google perspective. Because what we've found over the past few years is that now search are really valuing kind of the results that they're getting across communities and forums and showing them, and the results are showing up really high in their own results as well. So it's kind of a nice little flywheel effect of you're obviously advertising and getting the results that you want, but you can also really drive that kind of discussion piece as well to find those nuggets, and then also help your own kind of discovery from an organic kind of SEO perspective as well. So leveraging the power of context in your own campaigns. So now how can we take it to the next level on Reddit? So from a Reddit advertising solution perspective, we have many different solutions we can offer, and we're only focusing on a few today. So as I said, if there's any questions, please feel free to kind of reach out to us, or also the Reddit business page as well is a really useful tool for having all that information online. But what we're going to focus on today is a few different ones we'd recommend across the funnel. So whether it's discovery, consideration, or decision, we'll show you kind of a few different trends that have started to emerge. So the first one from a prospecting perspective is our conversation ads. So as I said earlier, there's two different ways to advertise on Reddit. You've got your home feed environment, and we also have our conversation environment. So our conversation environment is specifically where people are coming from a search. So you Google search, you might find a result about what you're specifically looking for, and then people are landing into these specific conversations and threads. So that's been another big part of our growth over the past few years. And conversation ads are essentially a placement where you can own the first ad placement within a conversation where someone has asked a question, and then you've got all kind of the gold conversation that happens underneath that. So this is heavily contextual, and I would almost think about it in a search environment where you can plug in keywords and show up when people are mentioning these in a question or a thread. So the reason that conversation placements have become so important now is just the combination of them with your home feed ads. We've seen significant boost in results across lower funnel placements. And as you can see from the result before, it makes sense because these are really when you are hitting people who are going through the purchase journey and might be a long, long way into making a decision. So you are showing up when people are comparing brands, when they're talking about different services, when they're going down the kind of rabbit hole of, I need to find that specific information or validation, and then I'll go on to purchase. So it's super valuable to show up in these placements and in these areas. And I'll show an example of what these look like in a second. So as I said before, just with conversation placements, like this is a massive stat, and global stats often overwhelm me because they're so big, but I think it's really important to call out. So 23 billion is the number of times people chose a Reddit result from a Google search last year, which is an extraordinary high amount. But again, it just shows you that when people are navigating through a search engine, they're choosing community-based forum results and real kind of information that is their next step in the search journey. And I think this just really kind of helps advocate the rise in number of people coming to Reddit off the back of search, and then they go into Reddit and they might perform their own search, or they might just read through a conversation thread that they're currently kind of exploring and engaging with at the time. So just an example of what that looks like. So here's just a very simple case study from Lenovo, who used carousel conversation ads to show up in the areas where people were talking about their own brand, where they were comparing laptops, where they were really just in that kind of purchase journey for the product that they're selling. So to have conversation placements turned on in addition to feed. You can see the results there on the left. They were super strong and just kind of help them extend their reach, but also, as I said, help really kind of reach those people at their kind of vital time when they were going through the purchase journey and making a decision. So just a very simple example, but I think one that kind of shows how powerful these can be when they're served in the right area at the right time. So the second thing I just wanted to talk through is the engage stage, and two different options here. So one of these is a really powerful organic tool that you can access, and the second one is a paid format that you can use here. So how are ways that we can drive further engagement on Reddit, further conversation? So if we just go into the first one, which is Reddit Pro, and Reddit Pro, which I'll get into in a second, is essentially our insights tool for your page on Reddit, and it shows basically where people are talking about your brand, where people are mentioning your brand name. You can see there's a lot of different information that you can pull out, which is really powerful to, again, inform your own strategy. But it's really giving you kind of the foundation for engaging on Reddit and where this is coming from and how you can find these audiences. And as I said, it's a free new organic business tool that I would highly recommend kind of everyone sign up for. And it really just allows you to kind of access all these super valuable insights that are happening on Reddit about this, about your brand, about your profile, about your page. So highly recommend that you sign up and have a look at that. So the next one I just wanted to touch on is our freeform ad. So this is essentially a larger placement of a larger format where you can pack more into it and tell more of a story about your product, your brand, or your service. So essentially it is a feed ad, which when you click on it, it will expand. And I know this doesn't sound very groundbreaking. It's been around for a long time on other platforms, but again, what we're finding on Reddit is that people are coming to Reddit and they love reading, they love getting in the information, and they love these types of ads that just show them and tell them more of a story. So what you can do with freeform ads is essentially you can put video content in, you can put static images in, you can just tell a really full story to your audience around, you know, it might be the campaign that you're trying to talk about, it might be the specific product you're trying to talk about, and really the way that we like to measure these, for example, is, you know, time while you're kind of reading through the format, time spent, I should say, reading through the format, and these types of kind of metrics that really show people are leaned in and super engaged. And we've got an example here from LinkedIn that just kind of shows, again, how they're telling a much bigger story, especially kind of in the B2B world, because we know this is quite complex, but obviously you can translate this for many different industries. But one that we'd highly recommend, something you can set up on your own page or your own profile, and then essentially just amplify that out to reach more people using Reddit. So this is definitely something we can help with if you have any questions, but I'd highly recommend, if you have an editorial or story-like content that you would like to tell inside of the feed, that this is one that we'd highly recommend for you to drive, I guess, more message association and just kind of relevancy with the content. And then the third one, again, just from an acquire perspective and how to kind of close the loop on a lot of the activity that you're running. So yes, we can, for those that maybe haven't run a campaign on Reddit before, you can use Reddit Ads Manager to set up a conversion campaign, and you can optimize towards a specific conversion event. But we've now recently launched what we call shopping ads, which is essentially dynamic product ads, which we'll talk about in a second, and also from a measurement solution, just to show you kind of the broader measurement solutions that we now have to help you kind of, I guess, pull this all together from a broader perspective. So DPA, and again, I know this is not groundbreaking. I know this has been available for a long time, but we're finding this is an amazing format on Reddit to essentially prospect and retarget people that have seen the ad or been to your website, and now they're looking to purchase on Reddit, as I said before. So again, just really serving the right product at the right time to people who have shown those kind of intent signals towards you. And this is, something where you can really engage with that leaned in audience and then retarget off the back of that too through the pixel. So again, I know this is not groundbreaking, but this is a really exciting kind of e-commerce format for us to kind of break into, and something that we've seen some fantastic results from our partners recently. And this is just an example to show you kind of what that looks like. So obviously, again, serving these relevant products at the right time across different communities that people are interested in. But this is more so about reaching those people that, again, have shown you an intent signal. They might have been to your website, they might have engaged with your content, and now we're retargeting them with the products that we feel that they're most interested in. And just to show you kind of how this works and how we'd recommend using this. So on the right hand side, you'll see kind of the strategy. So you've obviously got your brand and traffic strategy, where you can run a campaign, whether it's traffic, whether it's conversions, and you can find that audience. But then off the back of that, as I said, with the kind of signals that we've driven, we can now run DPA prospecting and DPA retargeting, which I think, in addition to whether it be an always-on search campaign on Reddit, I think an always-on kind of DPA campaign is definitely something I'd recommend for any kind of e-commerce retail clients out there, because we know that Reddit's highly efficient, and we know that we can kind of help drive these results. So finally, and I know I've thrown a lot at you, so thank you for bearing with me through this, just from a measurement perspective, to I guess show you that in addition to kind of the metrics you're seeing inside of Ads Manager, that we do have a number of kind of additional measurement options that we can help you access. So just to kind of talk you through the three kind of main areas that we see, and the first one is obviously to be seen and be safe, which is, a core to our advertising, which is Reddit a good place for me to advertise? Will my ads be seen by real people? And, in my target audience around a brand safe and suitable way. So there's definitely partners and options we can lean into to help prove this out, whether it be, moat tracking, whether it be double verify. These are different examples and different ways that we can do this. Building brands. So this is something that we're doing more and more of now, which is how can I drive my brand strategy on Reddit? What can I run in addition to, reach and frequency to showcase that my ads are performing on Reddit? So common example here is, how can I access a Reddit brand lift study? How can I showcase that Reddit ads are helping me drive not only awareness, but it might be consideration, it might be action intent. How can I prove this out and bring this back to the business? And then the third one, which is kind of grow sales and conversions. So can I use a conversion lift study? What are my options to prove ROAS? How can I show this kind of, again, just outside my normal kind of pixel retargeting and pixel results inside of Ads Manager? So if you just go to the next slide, Em, you'll see these are kind of the broader measurement solutions that we can help offer. But for those of you that have run campaigns and obviously are really happy with the results that you've been getting to date, we definitely recommend kind of tapping into Reddit brand lift, Reddit conversion lift, because there are a number of ways that we can access these kind of measurement solutions now. And as I said, just help showcase that we're driving results outside of just, click-through rates, clicks, and these types of things. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to come to us. Please ask us. We're more than happy to help. And with that, I might open it up for questions. And I know I covered a lot then. So as I said, thanks for kind of bearing with me while we went through this.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. Mark Ferguson, Congratulations on delivering the news tonight. Emily, great work on delivering that presentation. Members, thank you so much for tuning in. Just a quick reminder that we have got golf on the 9th in Sydney. We've got the Digi Bites in Melbourne on the 5th. And on 24th of July, we're going to have the Christmas in July event. Thank you so much, Reddit, for partnering with the IMAA. We appreciate your support and keeping our lights on. Thank you, members, for tuning in. Everyone have a great week. Talk to you soon.